Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Straight cash, homie.
Hold on to your butts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Basement Monsters Game Day Podcast. It's a final 23-17. The Washington football team and Ron Rivera get a huge win, and we called this one, Luke. We said this one was prime for the L for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I guess got to do something real quick. Show you what a real club dub looks like.
Yeah, okay, that's funny, hilarious. You know, club dub should be shut down. Period, because it's a joke.
Hold on.
What is this? What is this doing to me? Oh wow! All right, that's extreme.
Yeah, I didn't mean to have that going there, but
okay. Anyway, the Washington football team wins the game 23-17. Alex Smith 46, 296 yards, 1 touchdown. He was consistent throughout the game. He was he made big play after big play late in the game against a relentless pass rush, constant, setbacks. And you got to give credit to Alex Smith. He just hung in there with all that he's been through. This is a huge win for this football team. And it just goes to show you that Alex Smith is a winner. He always has been. Always has been a winner, and he's found a way to, pretty much get Washington their biggest win in years.
Man, yeah, and that's no lie. I mean, Alex Smith is, he's a game manager. And credit them for still running the ball, even when their number one went out. It set up a lot of things. They had a lot of guys make big catches. McLaurin, for some reason, couldn't get on the page, but. Hey, they still pulled it out. Logan Thomas, man, I'm telling you, Logan Thomas is an up and comer, man. That tight end for Logan Thomas, man. He's a man. He's good. He's good. I mean, Jordan Reed, who? And we're about to find out. We're about to find out who Jordan Reed is. So, hats off coaching, man. Ron Rivera. I can't even give enough props to Ron Rivera, man.
Well, once I'm done having a seizure from those lights in the background.
Oh, you're not used to this. I forgot.
Speaking of Logan Thomas, 9 receptions, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Cam Sims.
Yeah.
92 yards. And J.D. McKissick came through in the spot. Honestly, our halftime report, we pretty much – I felt like we were in the locker room for the Washington football team.
Yeah, no, it's exactly how we told it, how we said it should go. I mean, Ron Rivera's not a dummy. He's been there before. He's had great defenses. He's a smart-minded coach. And like I said, this guy has overcome something this year that you don't see very often. He overcame cancer. Was going through chemo, doing all that stuff throughout the season. He is man, if that's not inspiration and you can't draw it, I don't know where you get it from, man.
Well, I just feel like, in like I said, in the biggest game of the year, you have the Giants up on you already. Giants had their biggest game of the year yesterday. You respond, and like I said, these are obviously the two teams that are about to separate themselves from the pack in the NFC East. And man, give them credit. Washington came through. They did what they had to do, minus their best running back. Maybe their second best.
Hands down.
Yeah, maybe their second best offensive weapon. And then you go ahead. They held Terry McLaurin to 2 receptions, 14 yards. He had nothing else.
A lot of that was also dropped.
Right. I mean, he had 6. Yeah, a couple of them were dropped, 6 targets. But the drops that he had were contested balls, man. Like those are tough catches, and look, everybody's due one. I'm not saying that that drops are acceptable, because they're not. But hey, you got to give it up to the rest of the guys. J.D. McKissick, Cam Sims, and Logan Thomas, especially, because that's where your yards came from. They got the ball out quick for Alex Smith. They were able to move the ball when needed to. Their defense rose to the occasion time and time again. And man, yeah, it was impressive. It really was.
They got the plays when the plays counted. They force Ben. The defensive line get their hands up. Boom, it's a tip. Bang, we snatch it. Game over. It's like you could. I was a little worried there at the beginning. But I felt like the Steelers were going to come out and kind of put some points up on them. But I also said that this defense is going to settle down. They're going to get busy. They're going to start getting to Ben. They're going to start forcing some bad throws or contesting some balls, and that's exactly what they did, man. This Washington defense is
they're real.
Yeah, they're real, and they're big and they're heavy. I mean, I feel like Washington's always just had some big maulers. It's just like they've never been able to put it all together from a front to a back of the defense, but they've always had some big dudes. I know when they played Tampa, every time I was just like, well, this is a loss, because it's like you could just literally see them physically just outdo them, just outwork them and just wear on them. And it was just like, wow, this is a big team. And like you said, they came up with some big plays. The defense didn't fold. They didn't buckle. They didn't get scared of Big Ben and all the fancy things. And I mean, talk about taking away players. I mean, what did Claypool finish with?
Yeah, actually, what? I'll look at that right now. I was going to go switch over to the Steelers. Ben finished with 33 completions, 53 attempts, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a huge interception at the end of the game by John Bostic. The ball was tipped in the air, but, what did we say? Or excuse me, what did I say earlier about what happened last week? A duck at the end of the game. He gave the other team an opportunity at the end of the game, and he did it again. He did it again this week. You had virtually no running game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You had Anthony McFarland, 4 carries, 15 yards. Benny Snell, 8 for 5. Jalen Samuels, 1 for 1. And Ben, 1 for a donut. And, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, when I think of them, I think of a balanced team, and I think of hard-nosed running. You're minus John Connor, and that's a huge, huge hole. I didn't think John Connor meant as much as he does to this Pittsburgh football team.
I don't think anybody thinks that, really. I mean, obviously people in Pittsburgh probably understand that, but
right.
I feel like around the league and just like talking to people randomly about football, that's a name that you don't hear brought up. But you see, what a lifeline that guy really is for that team. He's catching balls out of the back. He's able to get a couple tough yards. I'm not taking anything away from John Connor. He's a good player. But now you see the MO, how to beat the Steelers. And now going forward, like we talked earlier, Washington and New York Giants neck and neck going into that who's going to win the division. And now you see also that if Connor's out again, you think every team in the league wasn't watching tonight just to see how do we beat these guys?
Yeah,
and they've got a blueprint.
And they do have a blueprint. It's run when you can. But when you can't, and obviously you saw White McKissick had 10 receptions. They had to go short, get it out quick, get out quick, get them upfield. You have weapons, so send those guys upfield. Get your secondary going back, and some linebackers, jumbled up in the mix, having to go ahead and move position, and then you hit them underneath with the running back. McKissick was huge, 70 yards, 10 receptions from the backfield. Like. That's some good shit.
And vice versa.
For your backup running back.
Yeah, and vice versa on the Steelers. I mean, like, look what they did. They made Ben have to get rid of it quick. You know what I mean? Like they were like, okay, cool. We're and this is what I said at the beginning of the game. They negate those receivers down the field and make it a short game, and they've got the chance. I mean, those there wasn't a lot of like super deep passes. Ben wasn't beating him over the top at all. Props to that defense for that. And now you see, keep Ben's passes 5 to 10, 15 yards maybe, and everything underneath, and that's how you beat the Steelers with no run game.
Luke, they were in his face all night. That last, even up until the batted pass that led to the pick, the pressure, like we said, the pressure was coming. The pressure was coming all night long, and Ben was forced to go. Like, look. What you have to do is you have to get pressure, because with a team that likes to get the ball out quick, you have to force them to get the ball out quicker. You have to force them into a mistake, because if they have any more time than they think they have, because let's say Ben's getting the ball out maybe 3 seconds, 3-4 seconds, boom. That's been the consistent of their offense. Now, if you put pressure on him, has to get the ball out at 2. Or he has to adjust his position.
And he has to
play.
Exactly. He has to do it right from the pot. Like he's on a swivel. He's not going to take a step off and run over here and get rid of it. He's literally having to get rid of everything right out of the pocket because he's just not mobile.
Yeah, it's 1-2, and then after that he has to go ahead and try to scramble and make a play. That's not what they want, Ben. And they had been there all night. They had been there all night. Even with the plays that they made, he was consistently having to go ahead and move left to right, get out of the way, scramble, try to force a throw. The pressure was in his face all night, and like I said, even up until that last batted ball, they did their job. They did their job.
Yeah, you can't. Like I said, I don't know, man. Do I expect Washington to go to the playoffs and really do anything? No, probably not. But I'm gonna tell you what. With the things that Ron Rivera has been through this year, and just the overcoming what he's overcome, that trickles down to your guys. Your guys at that point realize, listen, we're playing football. This guy's fighting for his life. Like if we can't play for him, then why are we here? And I seriously think that, and I think Washington's done a good job with the Ron Rivera hire. And obviously, Ron Rivera's got he's a defense. I love that guy's defensive mind. Like, who doesn't? You have to appreciate it. But those guys are playing inspired football because of him, and I guarantee you, it's because of him.
Oh, absolutely. But think about it even further, right? If you're Washington as a city, as a fan base, you don't have a team name. Your team name's straight. I mean, honestly, for better or for worse, whatever you believe in, I don't give a crap. I'm just saying, your team name's gone. You don't have. You know, what's your identity? You're the Washington football team. So first and foremost, they're pretty much embedding this mentality with this young group. You're playing for Washington. You're playing for Washington. You're playing for this. This is probably the best thing that can happen to that franchise, because I feel like it's going to bring unity. The adding of Ron Rivera, the removal of your former name, the promise of something new, the hope. There's hope in Washington. I give you that. There's hope in Washington. I'll tell you that much. You're going to have a new name. You're going to have a new identity. You're going to have a new franchise. You're going to have an opportunity to wash your franchise clean, have a clean slate. And with Ron Rivera, that product that's being put together on that field, I'm freaking jealous. I am fucking jealous of that culture that Ron is putting up there. Ron should be in Chicago.
I agree 100%.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. The culture that's being put in Washington, that's going to be embedded for a long time. And if Ron could get it right this time, dude, I would be ecstatic if Ron could turn the Washington football team around.
Yeah, and if I'm telling you, like, watch out for him. If Washington gets a couple more, like, let's say Washington goes out and gets, some DBs or some other stellar linebackers or something, and really solidifies that defense, because that's what Ron Rivera wants. In Carolina, he had Kuechly, he had Davis, he had Quan Short, he had a bunch of guys that were just
he had Peanut late,
just dogs. You know what I mean? Like, he had some dogs over there, and that's what he's working at now. Because that's the one thing I can say about Ron Rivera is he understands. You either make a choice at the beginning. Am I going to be an offensive team or a defensive team? We start with the defense. We hold the other team to small point totals. And we try to match those, and I think that's going to be smart. Alex Smith is obviously, I'm not going to put him up there with the greatest at all, but I'll tell you what, if ever there was a game manager, it's got to be Alex Smith. He makes the right read, the right throw. Just like everybody, he's going to throw a couple picks, whatever. But for the most part, that guy is a game manager. He allows your defense to rest. He keeps the time coming off the clock. He keeps your offense out there, and like I said, with that's just like that perfect combo, that triangle, keeping the other team off the field, playing defense, being able to score. That's that perfect triangle right there of winning football games in the NFL.
Well, there was multiple times where I kind of questioned both teams, like going for it on fourth. I'm like, Pittsburgh. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, I understand you don't have without your kicker. But then why the hell you have him out there? Like, why do you have a back? Like, why do you have somebody waiting like why did you dress him? Why did you dress another kicker? Like that one to me was, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they know something I don't. But a couple times on fourth down, I thought Pittsburgh was wrong, and they ended up biting him in the ass in the end.
Yeah, I also think there was a little bit of a statement. It might not have seemed like much because they were losing at that time, but those goal line stands that Washington put up, those meant a lot to those players. Like they took pride. They took pride in those plays. Oh, absolutely, dude. Like I'm telling you, the first one, and I know they gave up the ball and they ended up scoring and then ensuing drive for Pittsburgh, but that first one was just because you knew Pittsburgh was going for it right there and then. Mm-hmm. And then not to mention they go ahead and they get that other touchdown. They get it back. They end up going up 14. And like I said, that field goal at the end of the game, at the end of the second half, that drive, that was because it made them believe that, hey, even like we've been dragged out, and we still scratched them. We still touched them. We still were able to get something out of this. And then, like I said, going into the second half, the defensive stops for Washington. I'm impressed. I truly am for the Washington football team. I'm impressed with what Ron Rivera has done. Him and his coaching staff. He has those guys believing in something. He has them believing in something. And I dude, trust me, when they get a name, when they get a logo, they get a new identity, watch out for that team in Washington. Well, especially watch out for it in the East because it doesn't take much to win that. But I'm telling you what, man, like this team is like, like I've been saying this whole time, is just like they're inspired, they're playing, they have a great mind, and I think the thing that they took away from the first half was like, listen, our offensive plays weren't there, but our defense was still there. We did a couple goal line stands like that. It doesn't seem like much in the beginning of a game. But when they play with that kind of confidence and trust in each other, that stuff can light fires, man. And that's exactly what happened today. Is you saw somebody come out, get punched in the mouth, and then wipe the blood off their face, wipe the blood off their nose, throw it on the ground, and say, "Let's go." And they came out like it was a straight up street fight. And they won.
That's exactly what that defense did, dude. They were up all game long for Washington. No matter what, when they made a play, the entire defense reacted. When they and not to mention when the offense of Pittsburgh would make a play, you seen guys hitting. You seen guys not allowing a yard. They wouldn't allow a yard, and a couple times those big hits came in handy at the goal line. First down on Juju Smith-Schuster. Those hits, the way that the defense for the Washington football team attacked, that was the key. Like they were just more aggressive than you, and that was, it was fun to see. That was a fun defense to watch.
Yeah, and the other thing is like not only did you see the defensive players jumping up and down, the sideline was pumped. The sideline was pumped. They were just like, yes, let's go. We're here. So the defense, like I said, the defense inspired this offense. And I don't care what anybody says. They did. We all know Alex Smith is who he is, but that defense gave this team life today. And like I said, this is a monumental win for them, especially with the year they're having, no name, and being in the kind of the basement of their division or whatever it is. But watch out. They might go on a tear these next 3-4 games. Who knows what? It's not going to take much to win this division, and watch out. Everybody in that division needs to watch out, especially if the Cowboys get smoked by the Ravens. Then it's basically going to be between the Giants and Washington. So watch out for them.
Man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I would like to see. I would like to see them in the playoffs. I'd like to see the Giants in the playoffs. To be honest with you, like those are two teams that could maybe make ruin somebody's year.
Big time.
Those are teams that can ruin somebody's year, and adding another spot in the NFL playoffs, that opens up a lot of possibilities.
Right.
So
it's crucial.
Yeah. So for me, kudos to Washington and Ron Rivera. Kudos to them. Like good congratulations on a big win for your franchise. This is the first step. this is the first step in the new direction for the Washington football team. Whatever they're going to be called, whatever their new logo is, whatever their new direction is, the Washington football team is in good hands. And man, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Buffalo right now is taking on the 49ers.
Yeah. This game's good. This game, we talked. This game is gonna let you know who Buffalo is. It's gonna let you know is Buffalo ready to take that step? Are they ready to compete? I still think Buffalo's about a year or two out, just because I feel like they need another receiver and they need a better running back. But like I said, if Stefon Diggs and Allen get hot, they're hard to contain, man. And then that defense, it's kind of been up and down this year. So if that defense could just get on a straight line and not be up or down, just play a straight line, they have enough talent to go ahead and stymie some teams and let that offense go ahead and put up the points.
And right now the Niners are up 7-0. Buffalo fumbled, and the Niners went over and capitalized on that. You know what? We're going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to get you guys at the half of Buffalo and San Francisco. Man, it was I know I wanted to get to Buffalo and the Niners, but man, that Washington game
is too good.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Like there was nothing. It was exactly what we got. Honestly, that was I felt like I said. I was telling Emily. I was like, man, I feel like me and Luke were in the we called that second half pretty much. We called the majority of the game in the pregame show to the team. I was patting a little pat on the back. I was like, hey, it's exactly what happened. You know.
Yeah.
So
it was great. Like I can only hope the Super Bowl's is good.
Yeah, I could. Man, that to be honest with you, that was it felt like a playoff game.
It did. It totally did.
It felt like a playoff game. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get to you guys in the half of Buffalo and San Francisco. Until then, I'm Ivan Vargas. That's Luke Nettles. This has been the Basement Monsters Podcast on Sports Zone Chicago.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Straight cash, homie.
Hold on to your butt.